These are the 4 specific thoughts he has when you stop talking to him. Thought number 1. What did I do wrong? When you stop talking to a man, his first instinct isn't anger. It's confusion and self-blame. The human brain is wired to detect rejection, and studies show being ignored activates the same brain regions as physical pain. For men specifically, this silence creates an immediate loop of self-questioning. What did I say? Was it something I did last week? Did I miss something important? Is she upset about that comment I made? These questions cycle through his mind relentlessly. Men typically aren't as verbally expressive about their emotions, so rather than asking you directly what's wrong, he'll often replay recent interactions like a detective searching for clues. What makes this particularly challenging is that men are solution-oriented by nature. When faced with your silence, he's frantically searching for the problem so he can fix it. But without communication, he has no roadmap, no instruction manual for what needs repair. It's like trying to fix a complex machine with no diagnostic tools. This confusion quickly spirals into anxiety as the silence continues. According to research, being ignored activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the same area associated with physical distress. The mental tax of this uncertainty is exhausting, leaving him mentally drained as he spends hours trying to decode your silence. For many men, this uncertainty triggers a primal fear of inadequacy. Society conditions men to be providers and protectors. So when your silence suggests he's failed somehow, it strikes at the core of his identity. He's not just confused, he's questioning his fundamental worth in your eyes. If you're genuinely upset about something specific, consider replacing complete silence with a simple text saying, "I need some space to process how I feel about what happened. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk." Thought number 2. She doesn't value me or this relationship. As the silence continues, his thoughts evolve from self-blame to questioning your investment in the relationship. If she cared, wouldn't she at least tell me what's wrong? Am I just an option to her? Does she even miss talking to me at all? This is where his ego begins to feel the blow. Men often measure their worth in relationships by how much they're needed and respected. Your silence communicates the opposite, that you can function perfectly fine without his input, presence, or contribution. This strikes at something deeply instinctual in male psychology. The research is clear. Men experience the silent treatment as a form of abandonment. What makes this particularly painful is that it's a form of rejection that offers no closure. It's an open wound that can't heal because there's no definitive end, just a painful limbo of waiting and wondering. What you might not realize is that during this phase, he's also evaluating your emotional maturity. He's thinking, is this how she handles all conflicts? By shutting down? Even if he's not consciously analyzing this, he's storing this information about how you handle relationship stress. The longer this silence continues, the more he begins to believe that your relationship isn't a priority for you. He starts reviewing other instances where he might have misread your level of investment. Suddenly, patterns that didn't exist before start to materialize as he reconstructs your relationship history through this new lens of doubt. Something as simple as still processing things but wanted you to know I'm thinking about you can prevent him from falling into the trap of believing you don't care at all. Thought number 3. Is she trying to manipulate or control me? As frustration builds, his thoughts often turn to questioning your motives. Is she doing this to punish me? Is this a power play? Is she trying to get me to chase her? This is where his protective walls begin to rise. Men are particularly sensitive to feeling manipulated or controlled, especially through emotional means. When you stop talking to him, he may start seeing your silence as a strategic move rather than a genuine emotional response. He might think you're using silence as leverage to get something you want, whether that's an apology, a change in his behavior, or simply to establish dominance in the relationship. This perspective isn't entirely without merit. The silent treatment has been used as a manipulation tactic since the dawn of relationships. Researchers have found it's often employed as a way to exert control without direct confrontation. When he suspects this is happening, it triggers a defensive response. What's interesting is how differently men and women interpret silence. Studies show women often use silence as a way to process emotions or protect themselves, while men are more likely to view it as a deliberate strategy being used against them. This fundamental misinterpretation creates a dangerous cycle where your self-protective measure is perceived as an attack. Once he starts viewing your silence through this lens, he begins cataloging other instances where he felt you might have been manipulating him emotionally. This creates a narrative in his mind that's hard to undo, even after communication resumes. The truly dangerous part is that this thought often leads to resentment. Even if you eventually talk things through, the residue of feeling manipulated can linger, creating small fractures in trust that accumulate over time. To avoid triggering this defensive response, clearly communicate your need for space without making it feel like a punishment. Try saying, "I need some time to myself to get clarity. This isn't about making you worry or chase me. It's about me needing to reset." This transparency disarms the perception of manipulation. Thought number 4, do I fight for this or protect myself? The final thought represents a critical decision point. After cycling through confusion, questioning your investment, and analyzing potential manipulation, he arrives at a crossroads. Do I pursue her and try to fix this, or do I protect myself and pull away too? This is where his attachment style plays a crucial role. Men with secure attachment may give you space while periodically checking in. Those with anxious attachment might pursue you more intensely, sending multiple messages or finding reasons to contact you. Men with avoidant attachment will likely match or exceed your silence, creating even greater distance. What's fascinating is how his self-image influences this decision. Men who see themselves as the pursuer in relationships will often double down on efforts to reconnect. Those who pride themselves on emotional independence will typically mirror your silence, viewing it as beneath their dignity to chase someone who isn't communicating. During this decision-making process, he's also conducting a cost-benefit analysis of the relationship itself. Is this pattern worth enduring? Do the good parts of our connection outweigh these painful silent periods? Is this a preview of how all our future conflicts will play out? This thought is particularly pivotal because it often determines the relationship's future trajectory. If he decides the emotional toll is too high, he may permanently withdraw, even if communication eventually resumes. The damage done during your silence can create emotional scar tissue that affects how safe he feels being vulnerable with you going forward. The silent aftermath. Here's what most women don't realize. Even after communication resumes, these 4 thoughts don't simply disappear. They create a template that influences how he interprets every future instance of distance or conflict between you. The human mind is designed to protect us from repeated pain. Once he's experienced the acute distress of your silence, his psychological defenses will be primed to activate more quickly the next time communication breaks down. This creates a compounding effect where each episode of silence causes progressively more damage to the relationship's foundation. If you find yourself regularly using silence as a way to deal with relationship stress, ask yourself what you're really communicating. While taking space is sometimes necessary for your emotional well-being, complete radio silence without context rarely achieves the outcome you're hoping for. Remember that healthy relationships aren't built on mind reading. They're built on clear communication, even when that communication is simply, "I need space right now." The few seconds it takes to provide that context can prevent hours or days of psychological distress for both of you. The silence between two people is never really silent. It's filled with thoughts, assumptions, and emotions that grow louder. The longer, true communication is absent. Make sure what you're saying with your silence is what you actually mean to say. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments and make sure to subscribe for another video.